suppress black economic.
Here it is. The news about the coronavirus. That's right. The news about the coronavirus.
That should not still be happening. What I would really like to see is equal fairness with everybody. And I think the only way we're going to get or start becoming equal is for the governments to lead the way and do the right thing. It has to start somewhere.
When news first broke that the Cleveland Indians will discuss the possibility of changing the team's name, it launched a debate among fans and critics of the mascot. Our Ryan Schmelz has more.
Jeff Pierce has spent many summer days outside Progressive Field, not
Here it
watching
is.
baseball.
The news about the coronavirus.
Discussed, because I don't understand how you can name a team
That's right.
after
The news
a group of
about the
people. You don't have the
coronavirus.
Cleveland Caucasians, you don't have the Cleveland Africans.
Pierce is the executive director of People Not Mascots and also represents the Cleveland American Indian movement that has filed a federal lawsuit against the team, claiming the name is racist.
I think with everything going on in this country right now, it's really widened people's perceptions, because I don't think they believed us when we said that subtle racism is still racism.
While changing the team name has been a goal for some activist groups for decades, others see the name Indians as a symbol of pride.
Obviously, sports teams choose their nickname for something that is positive that they want to be associated with. Generally, Indians are
Here
considered
it is.
A warrior.
The news about the coronavirus.
Qualities that you would,
That's
want
right.
to have.
The
Tony
news
Benson is with
about the
Native American
coronavirus.
Guardians Association, an advocacy group that supports teams keeping Native American themed names. Henson, who's part Cherokee, believes the name Indians can provide a chance to educate people about Native American culture and history.
We see positive Native American imagery in sports as a powerful way to remain visible and relevant in mainstream America. And also, we feel like there's great opportunities for partnerships, especially between sports teams and also educational institutions that have a Native theme.
In the meantime, people are waiting as the team discusses and decides the future of the franchise name. Ryan Schmelz, Spectrum News.
Again, that was Chelsea Floyd reporting. Also, following the push for social justice, the attorney for Thomas Lane, one of the 4 officers charged in the death of George Floyd, is trying to have those charges against his client dismissed. Lane's attorney argues that there's no probable cause for charges. Part of the court filing includes transcripts from body camera footage recorded by Lane's camera and the camera of his partner. There's also a transcript of Lane's interview with state investigators. Lane is charged with aiding and abetting second-degree murder and aiding and abetting second-degree manslaughter. As the coronavirus case count continues to rise, could the president agree to a scaled-down GOP convention in Florida? He railed against urgings to do so in the original host city of Charlotte, North Carolina. Our Washington reporter Kevin Fry was in the White House briefing to ask that very question.
President Donald Trump says they are going to be flexible about the scale of the RNC convention in Jacksonville next month. The number of coronavirus cases in Florida is rapidly rising, and experts continue to warn against large gatherings. President Trump made the remarks in an interview with Greta Van Susteren. Earlier this week, the governor of Florida extended the state of emergency for 60 days, a time period that includes the convention. A handful of Republican senators plan to stay away from the event, at least one explicitly mentioning the coronavirus as a reason. Last month, the RNC uprooted major parts of the convention from Charlotte, the original host city. That's because Governor Roy Cooper said a full-scale convention wasn't likely due to health concerns. Here's my exchange from the White House briefing room. When it comes to the flexibility with the Jacksonville event, could that flexibility include moving events elsewhere if the case counts continue to rise in Florida, even possibly back to Charlotte if the cases stabilize there or go down?
I'll leave that to the president and not engage in hypotheticals, but he's very excited to go to Florida. It's his home state. Jacksonville is the designation and the designated place of the Republican National Convention.
This flexibility is, of course, a bit of a change of tone for the president. He previously objected to the North Carolina governor's urgings to scale down the event. The governor of North Carolina is a Democrat, the governor of Florida a Republican. A convention is scheduled for late August. At the White House, I'm Kevin Fry.
Thank you, Kevin. And Tulsa, Oklahoma is the latest city experiencing a surge in coronavirus cases. The increase in cases comes a little over 2 weeks after President Trump held a campaign rally in the city. Dr. Bruce Dart reports that there were nearly 500 new cases in 2 days, and trends are showing that those numbers will increase. There was a 20% decline in new COVID-19 cases the week of June 28th through July 4th. The Tulsa Health Department reported 266 new cases on Wednesday, bringing the total number in the county to 4,571. There are close to 18,000 cases in Oklahoma, 452 deaths. That's according to Johns Hopkins University's tally of cases in the United States.
Hope you're having a good Thursday, you're staying safe, you're staying cool, and staying hydrated. I'm meteorologist Erin Carroll. Almost all of Ohio's 88 counties are under a heat advisory for today. The exception, basically, our primary snowbelt counties. A lake breeze will keep things slightly cooler there, the air moving a little bit better there. But Cleveland, Akron, Youngstown, all included in this heat advisory. What does it mean? It is going to feel like 100 degrees up to 104 out there today. You may be wondering, we've been having temperatures in the 90s for several days in a row, or upper 80s. It's been hot. It's been humid. So what's the difference? Why are we just now seeing a heat advisory? The answer to that question is the humidity. So dew points are climbing. When we started this heat wave, dew points were in the 50s. So the air was dry, and it's easier for the body to handle the heat when the air is dry. When the air is tropical, like it's going to be out there today with dew points around 70, it makes it much more difficult for the body to cool down, therefore creating a much more dangerous situation. So again, stay hydrated, try to limit that time outdoors for this afternoon, especially as we get towards 3, 4, 5, 6 o'clock. We're looking at our Lake Erie forecast. Things look fairly quiet. Winds are out of the southeast. Now we will be timing out a few isolated thunderstorms. Same forecast that we've been seeing over the past several afternoons, that when we do start to see these storms starting to pop up around 2 p.m., any one of those storms could produce some gusty, damaging winds, as well as some heavy rainfall and be very slow moving. They're almost like stationary. They're not kind of staying over the same spot. So that can create flooding issues as well. Scattered storms, hot, humid. It's not out of the question that one or two of those storms, we could get some severe winds. We'll keep a close eye on it for you. Afternoon high 93. The record out there today, by the way, in Cleveland is 97, so I think we'll be safe from that. Few storms lingering into the early evening hours. It's going to be muggy through the overnight hours with that higher humidity hanging around. Overnight lows in the low 70s. So we're going to start to get some more widespread storms in here, along with more heat and humidity as we head into tomorrow afternoon ahead of a cold front. Out there today, though, scattered showers, scattered thunderstorms. We see them popping up right here, 4, 5, 6 o'clock. Then once we get past sunset, things quiet down for us, and then they're going to start to fire up and become a lot more widespread as we head into tomorrow afternoon. So stay weather aware for Friday afternoon. Your 7-day forecast coming up.
Here on Spectrum News 1, changes coming to the TSA. The new coronavirus precautions being put in place at airports across the country.
Spectrum News 1, a new kind of news channel dedicated to refreshing storytelling and empowering communities across the Buckeye State. With your local forecast every 10 minutes and all of the essential news you need 24/7. Plus, in-depth shows and exclusives focused on your community. Always Ohio, always refreshing, always on. We are Spectrum News 1, exclusively on Spectrum. Sunday mornings, take an in-depth look at your community. In Focus with Mike Kallmeyer, a half-hour show dedicated to the important issues, driven to bring decision makers together, and committed to elevating discussion and debate. Your community, your state, your show. In Focus with Mike Kallmeyer, Sunday mornings at 10:30 on Spectrum News 1, exclusively on Spectrum.
weather in Ohio is changing all the time.
We get winter one day and 60s the next. At Spectrum News 1, our goal is refreshingly simple.
We bring you an accurate, reliable, and local forecast every 10 minutes.
We have an incredible, experienced team of people. We don't just know about the weather, we know about Ohio.
You never have to wait for your forecast with your Weather on the Ones.
Weather on the Ones, every 10 minutes, exclusively on Spectrum.
So this is Eva, and she goes everywhere with me. Like her, I have this innate sense of curiosity. I really like meeting new people. I love to explore, and right now I'm trying to travel to every national park across the country. Every morning, that same curiosity is what drives me as a journalist. News 1, I'm Cynthia Constantine. It really fuels the type of stories that we do. It defines us as Ohioans, and it's why I'm so excited to call this place home. TSA whistleblower says the agency is making procedural changes to better protect passengers and officers after he raised concerns. The TSA Federal Security Director first raised concerns about how TSA was handling the coronavirus pandemic back in June. He says the new measures include officers cleaning gloves or changing to a new pair between interactions with passengers. Officers will also be required to wear face shields in addition to face masks. To date, nearly 1,000 TSA employees have tested positive for COVID-19. 6 have died. After being closed for nearly 4 months, Walt Disney World theme parks in Orlando are preparing for a phased reopening. The Magic Kingdom and Disney's Animal Kingdom theme park will open July 11th with a significant restriction on capacity. Epcot and Disney's Hollywood Studios will follow on the 15th. In addition to limits on attendance, customers will have their temperatures checked before entering and must wear masks and practice social distancing while at the parks. Cleveland baseball fans continue to react to a possible name change for the hometown team. Up next, strong words from one person who says people are not mascots. But first, Aaron.
More heat, more humidity, and more storms. I will time out those storms straight ahead for you. We'll also let you know when we might see a little bit of a cool down. It's all straight ahead in your Weather on the Ones.
About 2 years ago, I took a break from TV news, and it changed my life. Prior to that time, I've always been a good father, but I rarely got the chance to be a good dad. It gave me a chance to think about the things that not only matter to me, but to everybody. It also gave me a better perspective on news. I spent a number of years in Cleveland and Cincinnati, and it's given me an opportunity to see every corner of the state. I want to empower our communities and redefine what a news channel can be.
Every morning, the people of Ohio have the opportunity to wake up and start fresh.
We want to be a different kind of news channel, putting storytelling and community first.
Well, it's really humbling to be invited to our neighbors' homes and help them plan their day.
Welcome to Your Morning News. I'm Sophia
Let's
Constantine.
take a look at your Weather on the Ones. We've got a large band of precipitation.
Your morning news, weekday mornings on Spectrum News 1. Sunday mornings, take an in-depth look at your community. In Focus with Mike Kallmeyer, a half-hour show dedicated to the important issues, driven to bring decision makers together, and committed to elevating discussion and debate. Your community, your state, your show. In Focus with Mike Kallmeyer, Sunday mornings at 10:30 on Spectrum News 1. Exclusively on Spectrum.
Maybe I'll run for president, maybe I won't, but I will tell you that I'm not going to go away.
I don't think Michigan can become the Michigan of old.
We're probably the first professional sports team in the world that was built by the fans.
We're the biggest ice cream shipper in the nation, setting the standard for American ice cream.
I get to live my dream. I mean, what more could I ask for?
Conversations, Sunday and Tuesday night at 9 on Spectrum News 1. Exclusively on Spectrum.
Hope you're having a great Thursday. I'm meteorologist Erin Carroll with a look at that extended forecast. Good news is we are going to be falling back into the 80s over the weekend and for at least Monday. But when we look at the temperature trends for the middle and end of next week, we're going back into those low and mid 90s. There is just no other way around it. July 2020 is shaping up to be a very hot one. We're also going to be timing out a few more gusty storms out there this afternoon and early evening. Any one of those storms could produce heavy downpours, gusty, damaging winds. It's possible some of them we could get some severe thunderstorm warnings. So we're going to be watching them very carefully for you here. The high heat, that really is our big weather story. The heat combining with increasing humidity, that's why we're seeing all of these heat advisories up for us. It's going to feel like 100 degrees out there today. We also still have our air quality alerts. If you can hold off on cutting the grass or maybe filling up the gas tank until tomorrow morning, might be a good idea. So let's go Futurecast. We have a couple of things to keep an eye on. Again, pop-up thunderstorms out there this afternoon. This is 4 o'clock. Any one of these storms, they don't look like much on Futurecast, but they could be producing, remember, those heavy bursts of rain as well as some gusty winds. We're dry through the overnight hours, dry start to tomorrow. Then Friday afternoon and evening, we're going to be getting some widespread showers and storms in here. This is 4:30 tomorrow afternoon. Some of these storms could produce some severe weather for us. And then we're just looking at scattered showers and storms for the rest of the weekend. And those temperatures, they will be falling back into the low mid-80s for Saturday, Sunday, Monday. But go ahead and take a look at Wednesday. That's a little hint for us, a clue. Temperatures, they're going up again. So we're going to be hitting the low 90s once we get into Wednesday. That humidity will be increasing as well. So when we talk about rain chances, Friday afternoon and evening, that's a good chance for widespread rain. And then also Saturday afternoon and evening. Now we'll look at your storm track Doppler radar.
The Columbus self-response rate for the U.S. Census is down to 58%, a drop of about 5% from 2010. The U.S. Census Bureau extended the deadline for people to respond to questionnaires online, by phone, or by mail to October 31st. Franklin County's response rate is down 3 percentage points to 63%. Data shows Ohio's overall count is 66.5%. Now the Bureau is planning to launch nationwide campaigns this month to encourage people to complete the census form on their own and to track people down in undercounted groups. The past couple months have been challenging for many organizations looking to protect themselves and those they serve from COVID-19. Now the United Way of Greater Cincinnati and Procter & Gamble has stepped up to help. The United Way is giving free personal protective equipment to organizations and community members who need it. Churches Active in Northside, also known as Kane, is just one of the many organizations impacted. This donation will help Kane provide more PPE to their staff and people they serve through its weekly food pantry. Their executive director says she's grateful for the support.
To be able to get masks, to be able to protect everybody is just a tremendous relief for us. It takes just one less pressure off a very challenging time.
United Way will be handing out the PPE to those who registered in advance every Wednesday until August 5th. Imagine giving birth during the pandemic. Spectrum News 1's Sheena Elsley introduces us to Amanda Morrison and takes you through her journey toward motherhood.
This is what it's like.
Mixed emotions.
When you have a baby at a hospital during a pandemic.
It does make you feel very isolated.
Amanda Morrison, who was expecting when we met her helping other pregnant moms before COVID, just had her baby in the middle of it.
I don't know who these doctors or nurses have been around. I don't know how many people have been around. I don't know if they've been caring for somebody that has COVID. It makes it extremely scary.
With a face mask on, she gave birth to her son, Joshua, while COVID restrictions kept most of her family away.
Our mom was in there, but it was a lot different than what it was 2 years ago when I gave birth to my daughter. Back then, they would actually, they took pictures for me so that I could see everything that was going on with the C-section, clear drape, and now there's like a whole bunch of other precautions that they don't even let that happen anymore.
Still in the hospital bed recovering at UC Health, most of her family had to meet her new baby on FaceTime.
It's very uncomfortable that, now I have Joshua, but I can't bring Jesselyn up here to meet her baby brother.
COVID also closed off nurseries at hospitals, so newborns have to stay in the room with recovering moms the whole time. But for Amanda, she says that might just be a good thing during a pandemic.
I look at it, this is my special time to bond with them, since it can't be just me and one person up here, but I also I feel guilty because I know what he's missing out on.
I'm Sheena Elsie for Spectrum News.
The news continues right here on Spectrum News 1. And coming up after the break, we'll check your top headlines and, of course, take a look at your Weather on the One's forecast. In the meantime, some things you might not have known about our state.
Ohio Fun Facts are sponsored by the Ohio Senior Health Insurance Information Program.
It doesn't feel like a job to me. Journalism is my passion. I started out as an actress and singer, which isn't the typical way to get into broadcasting. Whether it's journalism, singing, acting, writing, it's all about storytelling. I guess I fell in love with news because it's the real story of us. It's the real story of community. I'm Mary Lee Melendez, anchor reporter, Spectrum News 1.
Weather in Ohio is changing all the time.
We get winter one day and 60s the next. At Spectrum News 1, our goal is refreshingly simple.
We bring you an accurate, reliable, and local forecast every 10 minutes.
We have an incredible, experienced team of people. We don't just know about the weather, we know about Ohio.
You never have to wait for your forecast with your Weather on the Ones.
Weather on the Ones, every 10 minutes, exclusively on Spectrum. Sunday mornings, take an in-depth look at your community. In Focus with Mike Kallmeyer, a half-hour show dedicated to the important issues, driven to bring decision makers together, and committed to elevating discussion and debate. Your community, your state, your show. In Focus with Mike Kallmeyer, Sunday mornings at 10:30 on Spectrum News 1, exclusively on Spectrum.
Maybe I'll run for president, maybe I won't, but I will tell you that I'm not going to go away.
I don't think Michigan can become the Michigan of old.
We're probably the first professional sports team in the world that was built by the fans.
We're the biggest ice cream shipper in the nation, setting the standard for American ice cream.
I get to live my dream. I mean, what more could I ask for?
Conversations, Sunday and Tuesday night at 9 on Spectrum News 1, exclusively on Spectrum. It's 2 o'clock. Have questions about COVID-19? Visit coronavirus.ohio.gov.
Good afternoon, everyone. Thanks for joining us here on Spectrum News 1. I'm Mary Lee Melendez. It's unclear who will make sure people are
this order out, and it's getting to the point, people are scared, people are calling and asking, do we have to wear the mask in our house, in our cars? It's getting kind of ridiculous.
Cincinnati police say they support the mandate but will not enforce it. In Dayton, police are enforcing the ordinance but say a citation is the last step in a process that's really aimed at educating citizens. Much more on that in just a moment, but first we're joined by meteorologist Aaron Carroll in the Weather Center. And Aaron, I'm all for hot weather, but it's getting pretty brutal out there, especially today.
Yeah, we're going to stick with those 90s. Only difference with today, there's more humidity out there to deal with, so it feels a little bit more miserable. Let's start with your weather on the ones. Heat advisories covering almost the entire state of Ohio. It is going to feel like 100 degrees out there today or higher, up to 104. You may be wondering, why are we seeing heat advisories now when air temperatures have been in the mid and upper 90s for the past several days? The reason for this is we're seeing increasing dew points. So an increase in humidity makes it much harder for the body to cool down, and it makes for a much more dangerous situation along with that high heat. So dew points out there today are going to be around 70, so you can just feel it. It's kind of that tropical feel. We also have air quality alerts in effect today for Columbus and in Cleveland. We'll also be tracking some pop-up storms this afternoon and early evening. Any one of those storms could produce gusty winds, possibly some heavy downpours, and even cause some wind damage. Temperatures out there today, they're hot. We're talking about mid-90s with scattered showers and storms. Your next weather on the ones in less than 10 minutes.
The Supreme Court ruled that a New York prosecutor can see President Donald Trump's tax returns, but the documents will be kept from Congress for now. The 7-2 ruling means President Trump's accountants have to turn over his tax returns to a Manhattan grand jury. As part of a criminal investigation that includes hush money payments to women who claim they had affairs with the president. The Supreme Court did not rule on whether Trump's tax returns can be seen by Congress, sending that matter back to the lower court. Governor Mike DeWine's new mandatory mask order is now underway in 7 of the most hard-hit counties in Ohio. But the question remains, who's responsible for enforcing it? Our State House reporter Molly Martinez spoke to one bar owner who's taking matters into her own hands.
It's been a few weeks since the bottle shop in Columbus resumed business, but owner Barbara Reynolds noticed once they opened their doors, patrons disregarding the rules turned the bottle shop into a bottleneck.
Trying to police everybody at the same time.